Ah yes, Pete Walker. That means today we're doing something British. Tea and crumpet. Frightmare is a 1974 film directed by Pete Walker, a name so British it tried to colonize my tongue. In fact, Pete Walker is one of the few British exploitation directors. You guys can assume England wasn't a fan of exploitation films since they banned a lot of them. Frightmare is an exploitation film that doesn't get enough recognition. It starts off in 1957, and we meet this guy trying to get a tarot card reading. It cuts to the aftermath of a murder. Then we go to court. The judge wants to make an example out of the two murderers, but since they're clinically insane, he sends them into an asylum until they are legally sane again. We then cut to present day, 1974. We meet this band of delinquent teenagers who go to a bar, and the main girl, Deborah, and when she tries to get a drink, the bartender knows that she's underage and doesn't want to serve her. So she goes to her delinquent boyfriend and tells him that the bartender called him, I don't know, a scagly waggly or a tea and crumpet denier, something fucking British. And the boyfriend gets mad. He gets kicked out of the bar, but later, after the bar is closed, they beat the bartender's ass. After that, we discover Jackie, Deborah's sister, and she's out with some friends drinking and talking shit. And then we meet Graham, who's gonna be very important in the future. He's this single young fella who's also a psychiatrist. And when the subject of Jackie's sister is brought up, they say that she needs a therapist. But before that, we meet Jackie's parents. Spoiler alert, they're the killers from the beginning. It's not really a spoiler though. It's pretty self-fucking-explanatory. And Jackie brings raw meat to her mother because her mother, well, she's a cannibal. And Deborah, of course, doesn't know any of this because she was born in the asylum. Jackie and Deborah's dad is getting worried because their mother is slowly going back to her insane self, and by that I mean she does tarot readings and murders people. Then the police shows up at Jackie's apartment asking questions about the bartender who got his ass kicked. Jackie is obviously worried about her sister, but she has to also deal with her mother still going insane. We then discover that the bartender is also dead, and he's hidden in a car trunk that Deborah has for a reason. I mean, she's a delinquent teenager who doesn't have a job, but she pays for storage and a car and a dead man in the car. I guess storage is cheap in England. And I won't say any more because the twists and turns this film takes are really fun to discover by yourself, and I highly recommend you do that. Not only watch this film, but watch most of Pete Walker's filmography. He's a very, very interesting filmmaker that was working in Britain during a lot of moral panics. I mean, it preceded the video nasties ban of the 80s, but England was still censoring film, pornography was still banned, and you know, a lot of these types of film would be censored. And I think that actually Pete Walker being British helped his case because from what I've seen, he was quite friendly with the Board of Film Censors. The acting is pretty good. The woman playing Jackie and Deborah's mother is a really, really good actress, and you can see in her eyes that she is going batshit insane. The subject of cannibalism was quite shocking for the audience of the time, and I think this film really held up. It's also really funny because the Blu-ray comes with quotes from journalists of the time. If you like this film, have your brain examined, and nasty, foolish, and morally repellent, which are very good selling points for me. So, like I previously said, I highly recommend this film to any exploitation horror fans, especially if you're curious to see what a British exploitation film looks like. It's very fun, very entertaining, has some good twists, and really, you should watch it, because the ending is pretty good too. See ya!